How's
Welcome,
everything
sir.
with you? Very good to meet you again. Really happy to
Same
see
here,
you.
sir. Same here. It's always a pleasure to
Absolutely.
interact
Pleasure is
and
all
share
mine.
knowledge with you and, just learn from you again.
My honor to be here. Thank you so much, Aksha.
So, so our
Yes, please
students
tell
are
me.
here, sir. They
Okay,
all
sure.
are preparing for GDPI,
Okay,
and
perfect.
among all of them has applied for NIFT. They are master aspirants, and yes, they wanted to know more about fashion and sustainability. They wanted to connect and understand that what are the points, what are the probable topics that in during the GD can be taken up by the panelists, and So yes,
Right.
so I just thought the only name
Sure.
which I could have thought of was yours. Sustainability के
I'm
बारे में we talk about a lot. So yes, sir.
Thank you so much for that. I will try to do justice to it, and I hope that students do get to learn. I would have one small request. What I've done today is instead of making a presentation, which is very boring, I've picked up the brands who are the epitome of sustainability in the world right now. And they are the ones who have positioned themselves and changed the way one looks into not only fashion, but what all comes around fashion. And that is what I'm trying to do today. And I want everybody to be very participative. So I had asked everyone to carry a Polaroid or a photograph of this. Um, are people sort of carrying them? Do you know why I sort of asked them? Or just asking to know the curiosity of everybody?
So the ones who are
Riddhi?
carrying, yeah,
Yeah.
who are carrying their photographs can just give raise their hands. And also, again, on behalf of sir, I would request all the students to turn on the camera, because yes, we want to make this session more interactive. So yes, जैसे अभी थोड़ी देर पहले ऑन करा था, please go ahead, turn on the cameras. Yes, sir. So over to you. So sorry, I'll not
Thank you. No,
interrupt.
no, please, Akanksha, thank you so much. And before we start, people, I want to understand from you all, this word which everybody keeps talking about, sustainability, it is actually a lot of pressure. I want to understand from each one of you, what does sustainability mean? And I will tell you my definition of sustainability. When I started off in the industry 15 years ago, yes, I sound very old, but I will try to be as entertaining as possible to all of you. So tell me, what is sustainability? And why is so much of noise around this world? And why do we have to talk about it in today's context? Why is it important? Any one of you? Come on, let's see some faces. I only see Rachit as of now. Rachit, would you like to talk about what sustainability is and why do we keep talking about it?
Sir, it seems Swati want to say something. Please, Swati, you can
Absolutely. Yes,
unmute. Yeah.
Swati. Please go ahead.
Sir, in my opinion, like sustainability is like how you are using that product for the longer time without affecting our environment also and water pollution also. So that is sustainability.
And how do you think fashion is related to it?
Because most of the garment use a lots of water and
Okay.
वो जो आपका उससे क्या होता है आपका fashion like if you are making a cotton shirt so it takes 11 ton or 12 ton of water so it affecting our water pollution and industry fashion industry is a second industry जो हमारे green houses को भी affect करती है.
Is fashion only about a shirt? It's a very good example, and I really
No, sir,
agree with you.
it's not about just a shirt. It's just I'm talking about the cotton fabric. Like if you are making a
Absolutely.
cotton fabric, then it takes lots of ton of water. And if we are making a fox leather, it takes like 8 to 10 ton of oils also. So that is related to the fashion also.
Very good. I really think, Swati, that today is two very close examples because I understand the biggest questions here. One is leather, and one is, of course, when I talk of leather, I talk of fur leather, I talk of leather, I also talk of vegetable tan leather, everything. So I am going to give you examples of two such brands who have really identified that do we even need leather? Why do we even need cotton? Or what are the non-traditional and actual traditional ways of bleaching a cotton and letting cotton be the natural way it is? Why does it have to be a pristine white color? Why can it not be a natural organic cotton the way it exists? So, there are multiple dialogues which I will throw open to all of you. Understand that there is no one answer to all the questions, Swati, and I'm very happy that you're bringing this to my knowledge because it's amazing how we come up with these things and we have answers to sort of fall back on, but there is always more than one answer. So I invite you all to have a discussion and give me thoughts about everything. What I've done in today's session, Swati, and all of you all, is I've taken examples of how my life started in a fashion industry, whether it was back in Pune when I was studying undergraduation, then I went to Milan. So, how the shift from my understanding of fashion in Pune changed to when I went to Milan and actually lived the experience. And then when I came back to India, worked in luxury retail for last 10 years. And after that came into education to really understand that what education can give all of us, everything else sort of falls behind. And since then, I've been so much attached to the idea of narrative building and storytelling that I want you all to believe that true stories need to be told to the world. And every 15 examples that I show you today have one story which is true to the heart. And that is what I want you all to believe in, that if your story is true, if your story is right, you will always, always have a platform which will work in a great manner. So be have that conviction, have this thing that you are going to do very well, and that is something which you will always stand for and believe in. So thank you for that answer, Swati. Moving on, Arifa, you wanted to say something? You are on mute, Arifa.
Not as of now, maybe later.
Okay, fair enough. Palak, I think, had an answer. Palak, you had raised a hand and you later lowered it.
Yes, yes, sir. So I
Please
just
tell me.
wanted to add to her point that
Mhm.
according to me, sustainability of fashion can also be, like today we have this fast fashion, this term of fast fashion and slow fashion, and also because the trends change so like in a month, or like in 6 months or in 5 months, the trend changes. So we have to produce more garments or more accessories or something more. So I think one issue in sustainability. So what we can do, like we I think this issue comes, like sustainability in fashion comes because we want to reuse the products that have been produced. We want to reuse it in a unique manner so that like we can take care of the environment also by not producing so much if the trend changes.
What is a trend, if I may ask, and how important do we think trends are?
Okay, so in my opinion, trend is something which is, I mean, a kind of a thing which is popular. People are following it. I mean, it may be in clothes, it may be in in shoes, in footwear, in accessories, in anything. Like even in the books that we read or like anything. So I think that is my opinion of trend.
Completely fine, very well justified. And there is something which, of course, we will circle back to Palak, and I would add to it. But I also want to understand आप लोग का viewpoints क्या हैं? What do you all believe in? Why do you think it's necessary? Because frankly, in today's world, where people will actually logged inside their homes for 2 years almost, how does a trend matter? To what extent do you still sort of go to its extent and feel it? Is there something which is going to work against a trend making scheme and come up with something which is slightly more long lasting and self assuring of a better life ahead? These are things and dialogues which we're talking about in current fashion space because everybody is tired of 6 to 8 fashion shows in a year. Nobody has that kind of money, energy, or the sort of power to sort of reinventing those 6 collections because you will be seeing that so many people who are leaving the top notch jobs of these high profile brands and going to have their own eponymous labels because they are tired of making collections after collections and it's mindless production. The idea is that the DNA needs to be intact. And that is from where the word sustainability starts following its meaning. So, I how many of you are carrying those Polaroids? Can you all please put up those Polaroids in front of me? I want to start with that so that while I'm showing you examples, you're going back to every detail in this Polaroid And in the last 5 to 7 minutes or 10 minutes of the conversation in the evening, before we close the session, I would love to take your thoughts. Yes? So come on, can I see some pictures? Come on, people. This is a time when I get to know you and you get to know me. So don't be afraid and don't think that there's anything right or wrong. Please share. Have you all brought your pictures? Any one of you. It doesn't have to be. It can be something as simple as a Facebook picture which you've brought and you want to talk about it. So don't reinvent. Don't go around scouting for pictures. It was just an instigation to see what memories do you bring back. Yeah. Anybody? Sakshi, Kaveri, Prasunita? Anybody would like to share? Rachit?
Hi, anyone is there?
People, am I audible to you all? I don't know who I'm talking to. I think I'm just speaking to 3, 4 people.
Yes, like
Yes, sir,
I
you
don't
are
think so that it doesn't matter for the students. Like we didn't get any response from any students till yet. Like, and we need your cooperation, right, for a fun session. It's a very informative, and Mr. Vatsa like took time for us. So at least like make it worthy. Please switch on your camera, everyone, so that it will be an interactive session for us. Please do. Please start your camera first, then we'll start the further communication. Okay? Please, everyone, please start your cameras.
Thank you, Praveen.
Chaitanya, Arifa Hanan. Where is everyone? Like, unhone start kiya meeting and they gone? Priya, Ankita Singh, Ishita, Muskan Dubey, Katyani, Mahima, Kanu, Ragi, Anmol, Kalabi. Guys, please switch on your camera first.
I have a lot of interesting stories to tell you all, but if you all are sleepy and
Yeah, obviously, sir.
not interested, because I have pulled out very personal stories to tell you. I want to show you how I started my career and then what I was doing for last 10 years so that you get, because I have worked in sustainable fashion in a very different genre. And I want you all to have a first-hand knowledge of it. Most of the people here at TDV also don't know about that. So I really thought that I'd share something very, very personal and something which not a lot of people know about me with you. Yeah. Okay. So who's going to start? Riddhi, do you have a picture of yours which you want to talk about?
Any picture?
What was the brief?
Okay.
I had asked all of you, pick up a picture where you participated in a play or you performed in a show and you were wearing something so that we can relate to memories.
Okay. Recently I was, here's one picture of me, if it's visible.
And what are you wearing if you can share with others?
Okay, I am wearing a lehenga by a designer. So it was actually a fashion event. So I was representing this fashion designer there. And I was also the host of the event. So in this picture I am just holding a mic, and it was my first event show recently I did, and I wanted to know how this events and all these things works and how fashion they collaborate with each other. So that's why I joined this, and it was a really great experience. The chief guest was there. There was Rita Gagwani, who actually I'm sorry, I'm fumble a lot, but actually I'm getting nervous. I don't know why, but
It's okay,
yeah.
don't have to get nervous at all because here I am trying to help you, so don't worry.
Yeah, so basically she coaches the pageant, the girls who go to the pageants. So she was the coach for Manushi Chiller. So she was their chief guest. So this was a really great event for me to be a part of. Yeah.
Which designer were you representing, if you can tell me?
She was Mehak Paul.
So why were you wearing Mehak Paul? How did it make you feel?
The shade, the colors of her, the colors of her designs and everything was really, white and pastel colors. So I thought that in summers we, like to wear light colors. So, and it was a really great design. So I was feeling really beautiful wearing it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Aditi, you can put yourself on mute. There's a lot of static.
Yeah. Thank you.
You can just mute your mic. Yeah, thank you. So people understand there was a lot of learning into what Riddhi said. Most of us know that most of the parts of the Indian subcontinent have harsh summers. We agree. Most of the time we have humid and hot and dry summers, and our color palettes drastically change. Now, when these color palettes are changing, they're not only changing because of fashion, they're changing because of the climatic requirement of the country. Yes, I'm an odd one out today. I'm wearing a black t-shirt, but I'm sitting under the air conditioner because I was sweating the whole day. And I, oh my goodness, I have worn a black t-shirt, but I'm sweating now because I didn't realize it's going to be so hot. And the March seems like April today. So I realize that it is not only the color, it is about the fabric, it is about my mood. My mood with black is very sort of sullen and deep and cold, right? Because it's giving me still a sense of warmth. And right now, when it's so hot outside, I want to feel slightly more uh, livid. I want to feel more cheered up and vibrant. And that might not happen if I'm wearing a black color. So here it acts as a psychology, it acts as my mood. But what I'm trying to tell you is this is what trend setting is. It talks about what largely is happening as a common consensus, what most of us on the screen are going through and feeling within and experiencing. That is known as trending or trend forecasting. It is not about colors which go from season to season and then are thrown out of the window. That is a very short lived learning of what trends can do. A trend, the purpose of a trend is to weave people like you and me together so that we talk a common language, we propagate a common understanding. Like, I'm sure that all of us have an opinion about the war that's going on between Ukraine and Russia. I'm not talking about the political involvement here. I'm not talking about choosing sides. I'm just talking about that each one of us right now is very mindful of what is happening in the two countries. And somewhere or the other, we are sympathizing with somebody who is going through that, be it because of social media, be it because of what we're reading on our cell phones, or when we wake up early in the mornings, we have a flash line, another city is bombed, another life is lost. So it's creating an impact on me. So whatever I'm writing today as a consensus is having that backstory of a misery which is going on somewhere. And it's affecting my present and future. That affects my way I dress or the way I want to talk to you. I might be happy to talk to you all about how fashion is changing its chance. But the biggest learning here is most of the fashion brands took a decision to shut down the stores in Russia. And that is the trend I'm talking about. That is the forecast I want to talk about. That in myself is fashion taking a stand for itself, sustaining a thought, being sustainable. That is the meaning of true sustainability. And that's my first lesson to all of you. Be open, be mindful of the world that is around you. Be very conscious of the decisions that you all are going to take. I am so sure that each one of you on the screen is going to be the future of design in the world. All of you have spent most of your important years locked inside homes because of the pandemic. And that has made you very strong, very determined, very, very excited to get out of the world, get out to the world and make a difference. And the way you all will change the world, none of us would ever be able to because you have subdued yourself. You have been suppressed with the natural instincts of how things have been around you. So this is the time where people are actually hiring people like you, young minds, to make changes to our lives. Because we have become old. We have worked for 15 years. We have run out of fresh ideas. We need people like you. We need young talent like you to bring change, because that change is going to define how all of us are going to function in the world. Yeah. So anyone else who wants to share a picture like Riddhi, I'm very thankful to you, Riddhi, for sharing that image, because it gave us some tangents to talk about, and it really made a difference in your life. It showed you that importance that was given to you in that time, right? So good. Thank you for that. Yeah, Arifa.
Yeah, hi. This is the picture. I hope it's.
थोड़ा सा आप zoom और करोगे? Okay.
Wait.
Okay. So tell us about it.
So it's basically a picture when I went to Mumbai at Lakme Fashion Week Gen X. I can say it's a it's a small platform for the upcoming designers. So I represented INFD Nagpur there. So basically, yeah, it was the jury member had Gohar Khan as a jury member. Plus, yeah, that's it.
So, yeah, my question to you now is, I'm not worried about Gohar Khan here. I'm
Yeah.
more worried or more bothered or more concerned about why did you choose to wear that attire and what did it do to you? Why was
Basic.
that choice made?
Okay. The choice was actually made because the designs I created was
Mhm.
actually a theme, color block theme, like popping
Okay.
color. So
What is a
that
color block?
it's something that's correct.
Think, what is color blocking? What does the word block mean?
It's like some colors that. How can I explain? I'm not able to explain actually.
It's a big chunk of color. That's why it's a color block.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's blocking other colors or it is just a big blob showing itself, that's a metaphor that's left for you to interpret. It can be blocking other colors, or it can be a big blob of color which is just showing itself. So, color blocks are used to portray a very strong sense of an identity with the absence of the color or the presence of the color, or in mix of both. And that is the beauty of why color blocks are used in fashion. Give me an example of who uses color blocks very well in fashion. I'm sure you all know, you all are far more exposed to fashion and Instagram and social. Give me an example of color block. Somebody who does a color block really well, because that is another lesson of sustainability, people. Multiple looks, multiple ways of wearing something similar. It is the color blocks that really defy and create that multiplicity.
Can I
So
say
tell
so?
me, yes,
Manish Arora,
very good, Sylvia. Brilliant. What does it do to help you with color blocks?
what does it help?
How does he do it?
How does he do it?
Yes.
Um, it's I think it's his signature to play along with the color blocks. It is one of his, because he does with every trends comes out with color blocking. That's why he has a signature. I mean, that's a signature of his design. And I'm sorry, how what does it mean by how does he do it?
How does it work to his advantage was the question. Of course, that's a signature,
That's
and
unique
that's
because
why
nobody does it in India.
exactly. So how does it help?
Yeah.
What does it do to the designs? Of course, it's his unique
It
style.
is
Everybody.
mostly the color blocking is mostly about it shows more happy, more joyous.
Now you're answering. You're giving the right answer. It is the joy of clothes, the joy of
clothes. Yes, the color.
making
Yeah.
a statement. Absolutely. So people, so when Sylvia uses the word trend, it actually does not work with Manish Arora. Manish Arora creates his own identity statements because his clothing are not meant for seasons. He wants you to be happy. He wants you to go out to the world and conquer the world. So any piece of Manish Arora that you wear, you will be your own self. And
Yeah.
that is the power of colors that the person uses so beautifully in anything that he makes. Yeah. Very good answer, Sylvia. Arifa, I'm going to come back to you. Have to come up with a better answer for answering. Yeah. Yeah. Who would like to go next? Come on. I'm excited to see such happy faces. I'm liking the conversation, people. Rajat, are you going to talk? I can only see your static image. And people, please don't think it is only about fashion. I am going to talk about sustainability as a whole concept so that not one person benefits from it. Yeah?
So can I also?
Yes, Shishti, please. You'll have to zoom a bit. Is that a sari?
Yes, sir.
Okay, could you tell us something about the memory associated with this?
So you like this was the sari I prepared in 2018, October 2018. It was my first event from my college, and it was for Khadi Village KVIC, Khadi Village Industries, and they were having a fashion show in Chhattisgarh. So this was the first time I made something, and I used pearls and other embellishments to make like things that are totally handmade. You know, that time tassels weren't available very readily like now they are. That time they weren't. So I took threads and I stick it in the cello tape with the help of it, and then make thread like fringes because I saw it with a designer's design, and I wasn't getting it in the market. So I made it with hand, and everything, the work, everything, the embroidery, there are pearls hanging here with embellishments, and that was all done by me. And I chose cream color because it was for khadi, and when you like think khadi and you associate with the brown khadi color something. So this was the first thing when I wanted to show this.
Beautiful memory, very good memory. I have some takeaways from your pointer, Shrishti. What is khadi?
So like khadi is a woven fabric. It's
How is it woven?
so like with warp and weft. It's
Is it
woven
hand
with-
spun?
Yes, it's hand spun fabric woven. Like it is done to promote Indian handicrafts because it is very famous.
Absolutely.
It is used in for getting Swaraj. It was used by Mahatma Gandhi also. Since time it has been used as a symbol of prestige for the country, as a symbol of, what should I say, freedom of the country and making the country free and dependent, because textile was the first sector that developed when the country was developing. Even as the world was developing, power loom was the first machinery that was made. So textile sector is always like the boom sector to taking the world towards marching forward. So
More than the world, I think it liberates each individual as well, because it is about the independence of the fabric. The fabric, if you see, most of the dyes which are used on khadi are natural dyes because that is the way, the nature of the fabric. And not a lot of artificial colors can be fastened on the fabric because it itself requires very less of the color to be sort of put on. And the beauty of khadi exists only in the way it is dyed or let the way it naturally exists. And when you combine that with a sari, which is again an attire of liberation, of self identity, it adds to the layer of understanding not only your culture, but where are you coming from? What is the most important part of learning how to weave on your own? And how can you produce a fabric which can be used in so many different ways and it combats most of the weather conditions in the country? I'm going to show you all something. 1 second. How many of you have heard of raw mango? So I do talk about raw mango in some of my lectures, but here today I'm going to show you something very different. So I went and I met Sanjay Gupta, and we were doing these I don't know how many of you have got to see these beautiful series called Why Fashion Matters, which we did last year at the Design Village. You should all go to youtube.com and type Why Fashion Matters, people. So I had the privilege of interviewing top 10 designers in the country. Amongst them was Devika Narayan, Abraham and Thakur. And of course, Sanjay Gupta was busy, but I met him in person. And they showed me this. These are series called as Mothers and Daughters. Can you all see? There's this box which came with these flip books. Do you all understand what are flip books? इनमें क्या होता है? When you start from the end, it shows a story towards the from the start to the end. It goes in a sequential manner. So when animation books were made initially, they were made like this. They show a story through a flip book. So you just keep flipping the book and completes. And every spine of the book has a name written to it. I know it's not visible to you all, but it is either a mother or a daughter, or a grandmother and a granddaughter, an aunt and a niece. And these are relations talking about how a sari was passed down from generations to generations, and how a mother, a grandmother, and a daughter together still own that same piece and create history. And each of them talks about a household, the mannerism and etiquettes in that house, that same piece of garment which was passed down, and three people wore it in a different manner. So it almost became like sustainability ran in the family, because generations after generations, that one single piece that was created, like how Palak was talking about initially, it is about just reusing it. Every piece is made so well that you don't ever sort of let loose of it. Yes, each sari might be, say, 40,000 rupees, but 40,000 rupees worth sari living its life for 60, 70 years, seeing four generations, it has lived its life. It is the value for that money. Instead of buying saris worth 5,000 for, I am not saying that saris worth 5,000, 4,000 are not good. I'm just making a comparison here. Something which lives for 80 years versus something that lives for 4 or 5 years, and you have to part way with it. That is the importance of textile or a weave or a fabric, or handing down generations after generation these treasures. And if ever you all come to the Design Village, I'll be happy to show you these series in person. You can even go online and talk and type Mother and Daughter series by Raw Mango, and you will see such beautiful images, photographs, collection of saris, which have really changed the way these people work. Yeah? Raw Mango is a very good example of how Indian sustainable brands are changing the way they're functioning globally. Anybody else wants to share their memory before we get into some of the presentations and brands I have worked with or have had chance to meet during my last 15 years of journey in fashion? Come on, I can pick up one or two more examples, people, and then we can start. Yeah. Quickly, I'm excited now. Anyone? I'm very happy that four of you were very courageous to show me your memories. I want you all to break free. Please don't feel pressured. I want you all to break this mold, because it's going to help you restructure the way you think about sustainability. Understand, people, that it's very easy to read the definition of sustainability online and talk about it in your interviews for 15 minutes. That is not what an interviewer is looking at. They're looking at an inherent knowledge of what sustainability stands for, and how you, as the future practitioner of sustainability, are going to change its meaning to its true self of what it used to be. Yeah. So try breaking free of the molds and talk about things. Ananya, do you want to give it a try?
Hello.
Yes, Ananya, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I do not have the picture right now because I've lost it. So,
Okay.
but I would like to talk about something I have done on my own. So, I had my sister's engagement, and I have created a sari. Like
Ananya, you could talk without your camera
using
as well.
two
We can't hear you.
and it was very
Sorry, Ananya, we can't hear you. It's okay if you can turn your camera off. We can hear you still. Try speaking,
Hello.
Ananya. Yes, better.
Yeah. So I have used my mother's sari, and they were like very old sari. So I try to use them, making for myself, for wearing it for my sister's engagement. And I thought of buying them from the market, but instead, there were like no on my own. It was a project board, the chessboard. So I have cut those in our dimensions in like 7 by 7 dimensions. The pieces. I have cut the saris into the pieces and then joined it in a checkers type of check thing, and then I made out of a different new sari. Like both were like one was red, the pure like dark red, and the other was gold color sari. So it was a very good combination, and it was the first project I've ever did on my own. So it was a great experience because everybody actually talked about that, like to make for them too. So yeah, I have opened my horizon and thought of using what I already had at my home. So it is kind of like sustainable example of sustainability. So yeah,
Brilliant,
that.
Ananya. I am leaving my mail ID for each one of you here, and I would really love to hear such stories. Please feel free to write to me, and I am going to choose my three favorite people here in today's session. I'm going to send something to all of you so that you can really understand what uh, sustainability is. And so please, I request you all to, it's not for the price of things, I just, for the genuineness of understanding what sustainability is, just write to me, people. Yeah. Praveen, you will have to help me here because you might be more familiarized, and Akanksha ma'am, of course. We'll choose three students together and really send them something because I really want to. I want them to really understand what sustainability means and how can we be responsible for the world which follows us tomorrow. Yeah. So here I've left in the chat, people, my mail ID. Please feel free to write to me your thoughts, your images, what you feel about. Like I'll give you all a perspective. In my kindergarten, when I was in KG2, I was made to be a baker. Okay. It's quite funny because I always used to be a very plum kid, and they made a nice baker's hat. They put a nice kerchief around me, which was more like an apron, but was a long kerchief. And I had this navy blue checkered shirt with a more like a jumpsuit or a dungaree in white, and it had these bronze buttons. I still remember because I still have it. Whenever I go back home, my home is in Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh. My mom has still kept it. It's a memory of me being a baker, and I remember we had these thermocol pizzas which we were taking out of the ovens. And it was a small play, and I got to be a baker. Even today, those memories haunt you back, and you're like, my goodness, time has traveled so much. It was 35 years ago, people. 33 years ago. I was 2 years of age that time. But those memories, even though fragmented, they came alive when you see these albums which used to come out because like every year you used to have a photo album which your school used to give you because that time those were the only ways of memory. When you see those memories, you're like, my goodness, things have changed. Maybe I've become more evolved in my thinking, but still at my heart, I love a pizza. A fresh pizza from an oven always reminds me of how I once played that part. And somewhere these memories build you of what you are, and they make you understand. See, understand that sustainability comes from the idea of sustaining a thought, sustaining a memory, sustaining an institution, a value. And that, if you sort of get into your head and mind, it really helps you to build your own views. And that's the first step towards building what sustainability actually means. Lesson number one for me was this amazing gentleman who I have never met. I want to meet him, but he was my first lesson of understanding how fashion is sustainable, how street style is the best way to learn fashion because it is not about buying new clothes. It is about putting things together as per how the weather is, how the climatic conditions are, what the occasion is, and just wearing yourself out. How many of you have heard of Scott Schumann or the Sartorialist? He is one of the first bloggers who existed when I was a school student of fashion. He started blogging in the age of 2004 and 2005 when it was very young. He was one of the first fashion photographers. He used to click outside of runway shows in New York, London, Milan, and then he became very famous. So he's the first breed of fashion photographers and bloggers. And he used to click street style people. That's why he's called the Sartorialist. Have you all heard of him? Yeah, no problem. He's an American gentleman. Read about him. Very good work, very good way of looking into fashion. But he also, what he did was, he made fashion relatable to people. He made fashion real. He told all of us that it's okay. You don't have to sit inside the fashion shows to see what is glitter, what is glamour. The real fashion exists on streets amongst the people like you and I, because we are the people who are wearing that fashion. We are the people who are going out in the street and doing our daily jobs. And that is what fashion is. That is what habit is. That is the true culture. Let me show you some examples because he captured Milan. And frankly, when I was there in Milan, I never had money. I was a student. I used to get a daily allowance of a month. And if I used to spend that money in first 10 days, it was my problem. And then I have to literally like survive or fend for my own self. But that is the value. In the limited means, how do you create looks? And trust me, I went for most of the shows because just the way I used to dress up, just the way I used to talk, I learned Italian, I learned the language, I learned how those people dress up, I learned the color blocks, like one of you mentioned. So, idea is to understand, to optimize your usage, to never go looking for something new in your wardrobe, to pick up something which you believe in, which is your identity. Like I love navy, I love khakis, I love olives. You will always find pieces like these in my wardrobe, which I interchange. In the pandemic, I've put on a lot of weight. So I've started using a lot of grays and blacks because I understood that those are the ways of hiding my own self. So it's a camouflage for me. It is a cover up. I agree and I admit not all of you should do it. But sometimes I just feel it's less of a choice to make. So it's okay to hide behind the black. But now I've got some six different weaves of or knits of black. So each of them is different, but I can style them so differently. I wear them with olive, I wear them with burgundy, I wear them with navy, I wear it with gray, and every day is a different look. But I have these four or five knitwears which I keep rotating and I keep making looks after looks. So idea is not to buy hundreds of things. You can have four to five good quality things which you maintain and you work with them. Look at the simplicity of style here. Not everything that these people are wearing is expensive, people, and that is what you have to believe in. What so if I have, for example, if this is a half sleeve and I fold it into a slight more trim here, okay, and what if I add another layer of cloth here to reveal another layer of color? That becomes an accent which I use as a temporary addition to complement my look of today. Tomorrow it can just be folded down. So a small sleeve folded up or a trouser cuffed up changes the way your look is. So my idea here was to tell you that fashion is not expensive and fashion does not mean runway shows. It means our day-to-day lives. It means what I believe in. It means like a pouch like this, which has stayed with me for last 10 years. I carry my pencil still in this pouch. It has got ink blots everywhere, but it's my identity. So I'm just saying there are certain things which I believe in. Like you will always find a color olive next to me. You will always find an orange next to me because these are things which are my identity. I will never go without a navy pen because I always want a navy in my day-to-day things. Like my laptop has a name, that's the way I want to build identity. So these are connections which you make with ourselves, with our things around. These are emotions which we build. And I got to know of him before I went to Milan, and that's how I did my study to go to Milan as a city before I was pursuing fashion, because this was the first hand knowledge of how the city is. Otherwise, how do you ever get to know what a city is like? You can see through Google, you can see the images of the buildings, but real people, people who make the city, how do you get to see them? This was a very good example. So let me actually paste this in the link for you all so that you just 1 second. How do you? Yeah. So this is Milan, but you can go anywhere and easily search. This is only Milan, but just go to the site and search street styles. And trust me, people who love styling, who want to go into fashion forecasting, trending, want to learn about colors, these are the platforms you will learn from, because these are basic grassroots things. You will learn about color balancing. Now look at this amazing color block. A little bit of white shirt shown below a deep tan color and a brown and a deep black trouser is a great look for autumn, you know, and it goes well with the sort of hairdo that the gentleman has. Then come to a leopard print, which has been balanced by a pop of yellow, which is something very vacuo and not all of us will sort of relate to. But look at how the color has taken away from the print, but at the same time has added to complement the print as a whole. Yeah. Not getting into styling right now. I am just sort of talking about study these things in very micro. Look at how this amazing Italian gentleman is dressed. He has no tie because Italians are all about being flamboyant. But look at the thickness of the collars, the lapels, they're thick. So he's making a statement. The band in his hat is deep brown, which is matching his stick and his shoes. And that is the level of accuracy and attention to detail that you find in people in Milan. So I'm not giving you a lecture on Milan, but I'm just trying to tell you all how each of these small things make up what fashion is, make up what true sensibility of sustainability stands for. This company was my first job. When I completed my master in fashion management, I approached them. They offered me a job in India because that time there were some visa issues with Milan. So I came back to India, started working with them, but it was an Italian brand. And whatever I learned in my master, I was able to apply to it directly because I learned the highest trade of uh, fashion, which is made to measure. Do you all know what is bespoke tailoring? Anybody knows? Made to measure, bespoke tailoring, customize. Anybody has heard of it?
Ma'am,
Yes.
also know about the customized one. It's about the product that we make on our taste and our demands. So
Okay.
it's upon our convenience that what we make and what we want to wear it.
Is it only about convenience, Surbi, or is it also about my preferences, my likes, dislikes, my apprehensions, my positives, my negatives? Everything, right?
Absolutely, sir. So it is upon our matlab, it's our taste, and it is customized according to us. Like
Great.
whatever we want, we can do with that. It's basically our taste and everything.
Very well said. Thank you, Surbi. Thank you for contributing to that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Who's next? Who? I can't see your name. Somebody's raised a hand. It says K, but the name is not appearing. Who would that be?
So my name is
Kushi.
Kushi.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
Kushi, please.
So made to measure is something that is made with the inputs from the client, like how they want their out.
I lost you there, Kushi. We can't hear you. Everybody else, can you hear me?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Kushi, you're audible now.
Yeah, I was saying that made to measure is something that is made with a client's input, like how they want their outfit to be, like what design,
Mhm.
what color, what stitches do they want to be included in that.
So your answer is very correct, but also the answer is in front of all of you. Made to measure means made for you. It's unique. It is that one of a kind thing which cannot be replicated. And I actually was trained in made to measure by the best. So Ermenegildo Zegna happens to be the best menswear brand in the world. It is a luxury menswear brand based in Italy, and I was trained by them into made to measure. And I had one of the best of India's clients. I see. I'm not praising people. I'm telling you a story of somebody who just went into fashion because of pure passion. I come from an Agrawal family which does not understand fashion at all. From a very small town of Kanpur, people have no idea. They're like, "Ye darzi banega, kuch nahi kar payega life mein," and all of that. So I'm sharing a very first-hand knowledge with all of you because I know that most of you will be in that phase of your life. It took guts. Everybody was against me going to Milan, but that city really changed the way I am today. Everything that I know of today in terms of fashion is because of that city. and my hunger to learn more. And that's what I want to pass on to each one of you, because trust me, once you get to the side of it, you will love, enjoy every part of it. Because it's not the glamour that gives you fun, it is that hard work. It is a joy of making that suit, that amazing suit for a customer who was so happy to wear it that he ordered five more from you. So idea is like, and for some of you was one of you was talking about a white shirt. I remember once that a gentleman came to my store. I got him to try on this amazing white shirt, pure white shirt made of this cotton called Sea Island cotton, which comes from West Indies. Now that one shirt was for 1,15,000 rupees 10 years ago. And he tried that one shirt for me. He liked the fit because I custom made it for him. After that, he ordered 11 of those shirts. And that in Xenia, India, has been a record till today. Nobody ever has sold those many of those white shirts in one go to to a single person. So now it's not me. It is the beauty of fashion. It is the beauty and power of a garment or a fabric. And it does its own talking. It does its own marketing. You don't need somebody to sell them to others. It is something which genuinely stands the test of time. And I'm sure that those shirts are still there with him, because these shirts don't, unless and until you spoil them, you drop something on them, the fabric will last you a lifetime. A single shirt which is worth so much of money has that much of value because, yes, the fabric has been made. It is very limited in its source. It will not be produced again. These are small beauties which I learned of. Made to measure is another way of curbing wastage. When we say wastage should be minimized, we should make choices. I'm not saying we should buy expensive. No, I am saying buy mindfully. Buy things which will serve more than one purpose. Maybe you try and buy a very neon like check jacket. But that neon like check jacket, maybe there are only four ways to wear that. After that, you'll run out of ideas to wear because it's so overwhelmingly strong, right? So we have to be open to the ideas of clubbing and making variations. But I want to show you what I really wanted to tell you is this is how my career started into making made to measure suits and clothing, where you get the best of the people to interact with. But it is the value that these are pure bullhorn buttons. These are actually extracted from dead cattle. So when the cattle dies off, the horns are used to make these buttons. So no animal is killed in it. Even when you're shearing the wool of the sheep, it is numbered. Only a certain amount per sheep can be reared. And these sheep actually are sung lullabies every night to be put to bed by the shepherds. And that's how much of care that's taken of these sheep to produce the best wool. And that is how a typical showroom or an atelier of Xenia looks like. This is in Milan on the highest floor where only by appointments can you go inside. But the idea is here, do you see the patterns at the back, people? Those patterns are cut for you, then laid on a toile or a muslin cloth where a sample is first made for you. And once the sample fits you well, then you choose the fabric and then the garment is developed in the fabric that you need. And that's exactly how it sort of turns out to be. You can see them stitching the sleeve. Yeah, this was just a peek into fashion. But now I want to show you the main part. It's a menswear brand making menswear, but it also does something very beautiful, which is completely in sync with what today's topic is about. They are one of the most sustainable brands in the world. From the fiber to the last part of the shoe, they produce everything on their own. And that's a community they've built. This is actually an oasis. This is a whole ecological park which they have developed over last 100 years, where there are more than 50,000 to 70,000 species of flora and fauna. They have their own animal and husbandry and everything. So people go there for kayaking, skiing, trekking, hiking. But the idea, and that is where the factory is. That is exactly where that's the factory where these beautiful fabrics are produced. Because it's in middle of nature, the kind of water that you get there cannot be produced anywhere else. And they every so with every employee that works at Xenia, if they give birth to a baby, a plant is sown in the in the name of that baby, and the name is written right below where the plant is sown. So imagine if there are people working with Xenia and they have kids. So every kid, there's a plant that's added in their name, and whenever you go, you will always have their name written. So imagine, that's a very beautiful thought. And Xenia has thousands and thousands of employees across the globe, and if you've ever become a parent, your kid's name will be there. It's an honor. So these are things which they do beyond just making garments. And that is what makes their stories so true, so powerful. So this is, of course, it's www.xenia.com. You can all just go log into the site, read more about it. But I want to show you also the farms. Xenia is an Italian brand, but the farms are based in New Zealand and Australia. This is Mr. Paolo Xenia. I met him in 2012. I had just come back from Milan, and I had gone for an art show. How many of you are from Bombay here? Anybody from Bombay? No problem. There's a very beautiful museum there called as Bhaudaji Lath Museum. I don't know how many of you have heard of him. It used to be the Victorian Albert Museum previously. So Xenia chose India as the first country to do Xenia art projects. And they collaborated with Indian artist called Reena Kalath. Amazing, amazing artist. She made stamps of Mumbai where they talked about how many journeys Mumbai has gone through in terms of its name of its the change of name of its streets. And they made a public art, and I went for its opening, and I went and I met the Xenia family. It was such an amazing experience because it feels like you're sitting with the family and learning from them. This is the pure wool that you get. This is the wool mill called Lanificio in the Oasis, a view of a store. This is how the sheep actually are taken care of in a flock, and then they're put to sleep together. Every evening, they're singing lullabies to them so that they feel good about their life, because then they produce good wool. This is how each packet is numbered and is sort of sent. And at the end of every year, there is an auction that happens, people. So the best wool gets a trophy, a reward. So 12 milmil is one of the fine fabrics which you find. People, is it making sense? I'm giving you very different sort of trajectory to sustainability. You can tell me if this is not what you all want to know. Like, I can completely go back to the traditional ways, but I want to show you the true things which are happening in the world, which otherwise get very much missed. Yeah. So when I talk about sustainability, these are few words I want you all to remember. Sustainability is nothing without people, community, and the territory, because it is the people, the place, and together the community that make us sustainability. Otherwise, nothing else matters. There's nothing that you can sort of talk about in together. Any questions so far, people? I've shown you one example from my life. Before I move on to something else, is there something you want to talk about? Is there something that you thought that you did not understand and want to know more about? Anything, people? Should I move on, or you want to ask something?
So you can go ahead, I think.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Let me know when to pause, people, because I have examples to show, but I'm also there to talk. Now, Udemon is a company which I co-founded. I was the artistic director there and also a partner in the company. It is something which we started out of pure love of made to measure and menswear. We tied up with artisans in Italy, and we were able to create beautiful garments, sending people's measurements from here in India to Italy, and then writing a story which completely believes in that every garment is numbered, every garment is made for only you. And eudaimon comes from a Greek word, which is a philosophy that Aristotle coined, as in a state of ultimate happiness. So that is what is eudaimonia, and somebody who practices it becomes eudaimo, or the practitioner of ultimate happiness. This was one of the first events that we did at Udemy, and it was called as uh, yellow cognition because the idea was the white and the gray create the room for the yellow, the purity. It is about essentials which are in the wardrobe. This is what I was talking about when I was talking about color combinations, people. This is what you can mix and match in different ways and wear and create multiple looks of. Each fabric is different in its texture, in its color, in its seasonality, and that is what creates multiplicity, just like the atoms. So one calls them the atoms of the wardrobe. Just one second. I'll show you some garments also so that you'll have an idea. So each and every part is sort of thought of and why is it made. So this is a jacket which is not lined inside. So attention to how the hanger look should be, how the melton should be, how should the lapel hole should look like. These are called as breast pockets, and these breast pockets are supposed to be always at the angle from the armhole in a rotating manner. So when you rotate your arm's axis has to match the curve of the pocket. These are very small details which one sort of gives in. And these running stitches which you see on top are all hand done because that is the level of proficiency and detail that we used to give to these garments. This is one of my favorite trousers which I had made. I really wanted that extension. So these are called as Gurkha trousers. Gurkhas used to be these warriors in the past and still are, and they wore these extended waistbands. And we sort of really this came into fashion in 2017, but then we made it as our own identity and called it Bahadur. So the idea was that you really give that sense of a warrior, but taper them two things. So look at the details of these buttonholes. Look at the way they've been finished. They're complementing the way the trouser is. This was one of the first jacket which I made and it went terribly wrong. The measurements went wrong. Customer never bought them. Bought the jacket, but it became a masterpiece because just the way it was. So we just sort of liked it the way it used to be. And that's Italy for you. How many of you have heard of this brand called Hermes? I think most of you would have. Anybody who doesn't know or wants to know what Hermes is?
Yes, sir, I would want to know.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
Shishti.
So one
Hermes,
thing
yes, please
that
tell me.
I know about this brand is that its bags are the most expensive.
Correct. So thank you, Kushi. People who do not know Hermes, it's one of the most expensive and luxurious handbag makers in the world. You must have heard of Birkin bag. Some of you must have heard of the Birkin. Hermes makes the Birkin bag, which has the longest wait list ever. Yeah. So when you make these Birkins, it's so funny that people wait for 4 years to get a bag because they tell you, oh, you know what? Your crocodile is just born. So you have to give it some time to grow up so that we can kill it and make the bag for the color that you want for. And it is so intimidating because you're telling a customer, oh, the crocodile is just born. Give us some 4 years, 3 years, we're going to kill that crocodile and make a beautiful bag out of it. And people actually wait. So what the brand is doing, because every brand now is under the lens of the world. We, the people, you all are the biggest lens for these brands to justify themselves, justify their costing. None of us now buy brands because they have a tag of $3,000 or $20,000. You want to know what am I getting for $20,000 if I'm spending that money? So people have become very aware of why they are spending their money. And that is the biggest lesson that we in the fraternity of fashion and design have to learn. So what Hermes has done is the wastage from every collection that they get, They have started reusing it to make a separate line called Petite H, means small h. So Hermes, the brand is with capital H. This brand is called as Petite H, means small h. So these portlies like you see, or the bags that you see, are made of different components of a scarf or a leather bag or a shoe part which makes the handles. This scarf dress is actually made of three different scarves put together, then a locket, then a wristband, a charm for a kid, a toy, a small pochette, different bags. So idea is how you repurpose leather from different sources and make something new, or cloth from different sources and give them a second life. So it's almost like giving a second life to the products which otherwise were thrown away, or the scraps which sort of did not work for. Kushi, you had a point to make? Shivangi, you want to say something?
No, sir, sorry.
Okay, no problem. So look at these, the way we've used these details in here. Something as basic as a safety pin, but it looks so good the way it's been made. So just to show you how things have been repurposed and reimagined. And if you all want to see how the true Hermes looks like, I will just go to the main site and just show you. Look at the main language. It is so evolved, it is so expensive, it is so rich. And for them to do something which is so different and talk about sustainability, is talk about really giving second chance to the products. How many of you have heard of, look at the same scarf look, but it looks so evolved, so expensive. And leftovers from these are used in mainstream small brands. How many have you have heard of Stella McCartney? A very, very famous British fashion designer. I'm very fond of her as a designer. She has really stood the test of time. Was the first fashion designer to say no to fur, leather, skin, animal testing. Took a huge stand. Does not use leather till date. And is very fashionable. It's a very, very good brand. You should all study about her. She is an icon in fashion history and the symbol of sustainability in the world. When you read about her commitment of sustainability, people, you will understand that her timeline has been so inspirational. So I will take you through that to understand that before you all even started knowing what fashion is, she's been working in this domain for the last 22 years. In 2001, she said no to leather, fur, and skin. And from day one, since she founded her company, she's never used it. She only uses organic cotton in her collections from 2008. When I say organic, the cotton comes from a source which uses very limited water, uses water from rainwater harvesting, and regenerates and repurposes water, which goes out after washing the wood, washing the organic cotton. So everything is studied at every stage and made organic. Stopped using PVC in our collection completely. So no PVC in the t-shirts, in the logos, in the bags, nothing. Instead of having an acetate, which is a plastic, she introduced a plant-based acetate for glassware, for eyewear, for sunglasses, for shoes, for bags. So the idea was how to find these ethical practices and training techniques to talk about alternates in fashion, which are not only talking about unsustainable acts. Angora is a very expensive form of wool and cannot be purchased very easily. It is protected by PETA. It's also protected against limited usage of wool and animal skin and needs certificates to procure. But because people started selling Angora in fake, the value of the product went down. But at the same time, the real Angora disappeared and they extinguished. So they went extinct. So the idea is how do you sort of really go about understanding what is an alternate to all of this? Removed cardboard from the packaging completely, another huge problem of wastage. achieved sustainable viscose. I'm sure most of you would understand what viscose is. It is a plant-based fabric which is made, mixed with silk, produces a sheen-like fabric, can have organza, can have chiffon, can have what is the other one?
Tencent.
Which one, sorry? Shishti, sorry, I did not hear you.
Is it Tencel?
Oh, yeah, correct. Thank you.
That's a Tencent.
Yeah, thank you for that. So these are few things which I wanted you all to understand, but also you also know about what is a commitment to sustainability. What is something called as social sustainability? Can somebody tell me what is social sustainability? Not using your products, your skincare, your fragrances, your toiletries on animals is very much sustainable. It's an act of sustainability. You don't do sandblasting because sandblasting requires a lot of water. To get that sand effect on denims requires a lot of water wastage, and a lot of turbines have to run. A lot of energy is used to produce one pair of denims, and then there's no point of selling those denims for 50,000 rupees, because the amount of damage that's done to nature is irreplaceable, and that denim will not even last 100 years and will go fill a landfill. Then no cotton from Uzbekistan, Syria, and Turkmenistan because these were the areas which were practicing child labor. To say no to child labor is a very big sustainable action, and they did that. So you should read, and do you all understand what is circularity and what is circular fashion, what is circular trading? Anybody who knows, I can help you know that because these are things which you should ask questions. This is real sustainability that we are talking about, people. Anybody give it a try. What is circular?
So reusing of the already available material, reuse it, recreate it, reinvent it in a different way to use it circularly. Like a cycle goes from extracting from nature, using and throwing. So changing that cycle to extracting from nature, using, not throwing, reusing, reproducing, and then using it again.
So very good example of circularity. And I think it's full marks to you there. Just add a layer of co-sharing and community building in it. So when all of us put in our sources together, we really build practices together so that you and I get benefits of each other's practices. That is what creates a circular economy because my benefits give fruit to me and you as well. And tomorrow when you grow, you will give your fruits to me and you will enjoy your fruits as well. So together as a community, we grow and our fruits then come back and serve to the others. So it becomes almost cyclical in its nature. And that is becoming a very big, important premise for sustainability to exist. So very good attempt there. And thank you for that answer, because I really think that repurposing and recycling is the most important part, but add the layer of economy in it as well, because that's when the actual circular economy and sustainability sort of comes together.
So
what is, yes, please tell me.
So you said co-sharing something. I just
co-share. Co-share means just don't share. Co-share. Matlab it has to be a seamless process that you and I share, third person shares with both of us, the fourth person shares with three of us, and we share back. So the community grows. So it's not sharing anymore, it becomes co-sharing.
Okay.
So sharing also becomes very shareable into infinity, and the chain grows. Yeah?
Yes.
So what is social sustainability, people, if I can ask? And how is it different from circularity? It is not different from circularity. It helps circularity complete its chain. So social sustainability means not being socially distanced, being physically distanced, but don't become separated emotionally and connectedly. We should remain people of the community, work along with each other, really let others reap the benefits of what we are making, and all at the same time grow ourselves. But making connections, keeping them intact is very important to people. And that is what changes the way economy and you people will change the way design works for you all. Yeah. Then there are a lot of foundations you should read about them. It's called fashionforgood.com. A very good site to read, people. Gives you a lot of ideas about what is happening in the field of fashion across the globe, what is happening in exhibition design, what is happening in textiles and materiality, exhibitions, what is the new stand that is coming for brands to do in the world, how does color work, what is forecasting from a very conscious point of view. The word conscientious buying and fashion is something which you should all remember. Yeah. Now I'm going to take you all to my favorite brand. It's Chanel. Can somebody tell me about Chanel, the brand? Now I'm going to talk about something very serious about Chanel. I'm going to talk about how they're reducing the carbon footprints and not about the glamour, the little black dress, and the blacks and whites. I'm going to talk about what they're doing to ensure that the future is carbon free. Come on, people. I want to hear from you what Chanel is.
It's a French luxury brand which was found by Coco Chanel. That's the basic I know.
And what did she do? Why did the brand become so famous?
So it provides the perfumes, fragrances, and makeup, which is a luxury brand for the girls, and has a high range of fragrances which are very mesmerized by people.
Okay. So did you understand what does this mean? 1.5, Mission 1.5. There's a very famous fragrance called Chanel Number 5. I'm sure most of you know of it, right? If you don't also, it's okay. It's one of the leading fragrances in the world. Marilyn Monroe and Audrey Hepburn, people like them made them very famous. And then, of course, later people like Nicole Kidman and Keira Knightley. But also, Brad Pitt was the first one to appear in a Chanel Number 5 fragrance because he was trying to really, they were trying to break the mold of very women typical fragrance. Having said that, they are talking about how are they helping or contributing to lowering the average mean temperature by 1.5 degrees across the globe by the activities they'll be doing in compliance with the the climate economy report, which happens at Davos every year. Yeah. So I was just wanting to, of course, I can share this with you all here. Please feel free to read these. People, one more thing which I want to tell you is keep reading. Keep reading anywhere you find links to, because you have to understand that everything cannot be covered in this hour and a half or 2 hours of chat. But I am happy to give you as many notes, as many things to read, because the more you read, the better we become. And the day I stop reading, I feel like, my goodness, I've not learned anything. What am I doing with my life? And the only way to move forward is to keep talking to people, to keep reading, to talk about what is new and what should new be. Yeah. So look into what is an alternate form of energy, look into what is a value chain doing, how are we reducing air threats, just by ensuring that perfume bottles, you sort of give refills to perfume bottles, that itself changes the way it works. Then Chanel Number 5 has reintroduced a bottle which is similar to Number 5, and it's called Gabriel Chanel. So it is 40% lower in terms of higher in terms of sustainability than the actual bottle, and it's redefining the way the brand is, and that itself has reduced what energy footprints they were producing earlier, right? You can go into detail, read it in detail. Of course, it's very beautiful, but I wanted you all to see this side of fashion because these are things which people don't talk about. Another brand, very, very good, is Holland and Sherry. It is an interiors brand, makes very good furniture, furnishings, but also makes very good fabrics for suits and shirts and so on. Now, this is for people who love trend forecasting and color forecasting. And I want to debunk that um notion of how colors only play an important part. Look at these colors. Look at the way they have reimagined the paradigm shift of how colors work, sort of.
So I have a question.
Yes,
Like
Surbhi.
some brands like shift from furniture, like this brand makes the furniture as well as the trend in clothes, like clothing. So they are extremely different fields. Like furniture is extremely different and clothing is extremely different.
No,
So
so but the premise is the same, no? They are experts in fabrics. They produce fabrics for both upholstery of furniture and for garment making. So they are the experts of making textiles. So that's why they are supplying to both interior and fashion industries.
but sir, the furniture part is not related to like the furniture, the material used in furniture like sofas and all is not related to the clothing that we wear, right?
That is what I was telling you, Surbi, in the beginning, that fashion is not about garments only. Fashion is not about one part. A company which has a textile know-how, a company which is a 150-year-old company, has the expertise to produce the best fabrics. Now, whether you use those fabrics for clothing or you use them for interiors, you use them for making a sofa or a curtain, they have the expertise. They are the ones who've been making this for the last 150 years. So who would understand the nuances, the differences of a shirt fabric to a sofa fabric? That's what I was trying to tell you all this while. That if you have the expertise to weave something, to know the difference between a wall furnishing to a shirt which goes on your clothing, do you not see like the amount of expertise they have by doing the same thing, the same practice? And that is how you diversify.
Correct, sir.
Yeah.
Thank
No, no, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Don't just say yes. Like, I hope you get what I'm saying. I can
Yes,
give you better examples.
absolutely. I got the point. I'm sorry to disturb, but
No,
thank.
no, no. I'm very happy you asked because these are the doubts I'm happy to answer. Because, it's very relevant to ask such questions. Otherwise, there are many other people who would have not even bothered asking. So I'm happy that you did.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
So just look here. I'll show you the three examples. This is furniture. This is talking about cashmere. Cashmere can be a jacket, or cashmere can also be a sofa, which is in a very cold zone. Yeah. So what we do is we talk about only existing fabrics and what it can do. So here, if you see the cashmere can be used in a jacket, can be used as an upholstery. Of course, the grammage and the weightage will change. Yeah. Agree, Surbi?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. So this website. So how many of you like food? Very stupid question to ask, but I still want to ask. Before I end, I want to talk to you about food and my favorite chef in the world. How many of you have heard of this amazing gentleman? His name is Massimo Bottura.
No, sir. Haven't. Like, I'm not.
Okay.
No,
So,
we have.
so you should
Same
all.
here, sir.
Leaving the link here. Have fun. Go and have pizzas in the evening if you all want to. And remember me and him today. His name is Massimo Bottura. He is a symbol of sustainability in food. How many of you have Netflix? Netflix है आप लोग के
Me?
पास किसी के
It's me,
पास?
sir. Yes, sir.
I know your parents will kill me. Don't get me beaten up by them. But if you all have time and have studied for your prelims, take some time out. There is something called as Chef's Table in most of your Netflixes. Watch the first episode of Netflix, first season, first episode. It's on Massimo Bottura, this gentleman. 1 hour sleep less, but watch that episode today. And you will feel better about your lives. You will go and give your exams properly because food will make you so happy, but it will also tell you that sustainability is not in fashion only. Sustainability extends to every aspect of our lives. And this is what he does very beautifully in this amazing restaurant of his. It's a three Michelin star restaurant called Osteria Francescana in Modena in Italy. Modena is a town from which I know all the Ferrari freaks would know that Modena is a town for Ferrari. It's not Modena, it's Maranello, which is near Modena, and Lamborghini nearby. And of course, the Modena vinegar that you get, the red vinegar. So, and the yellow color, the canary yellow color. But it is, I'll show you how this beautiful place looks like. I hope people are not sleeping. I just kept on talking, but I really thought that some value would have been passed on through these talks. So just don't look at the food, but look at the appetite of how the whole mood. It is like it's like the canvas is your plate, and you draw anything on that canvas, and people love to eat that. When you see his documentary, you will fall in love with what he does. The play of color, the play of texture, the importance of culture, season given to food, time, aging, everything. Teaches you patience, teaches you repurposing, reusability, not wasting anything. Food can be a very good teacher, people. Always remember, it teaches you patience, teaches you color very well, teaches you light and shadow, teaches you principles of balance and time, of course, punctuality, discipline, and composition, like you see here. Wanted to talk also about this amazingly new brand. It's called Asket. Very interesting, makes staple garments and doesn't, of course, talk about just, they talk about without compromising at all. You create a permanent collection which is fully transparent. You know where it is made, you know how lifestyle is responsible, and they try to use, what they've done is they try to use at least 40% of their previous garments into the new collection, and they try to reuse everything. And they call something called as explore the permanent collection, where you talk about the non-lookbook. So idea is not to have a lookbook but a non-lookbook, where they're talking about a promise which is zero compromise on the quality of garments, full transparency of where they come from, and the responsibility of how the life cycle of the garment is. Very important for people to know. Sorry, it's 10% of the volume of the garments sold in first 2 years, not 40%. Yeah. So a lot of interesting things happening across the globe, people. It's about just grasping your opportunities and really figuring out where you want to be, what is your stand. Keep copying these links, people, somewhere so that you don't miss out on them. Okay, I am done with my blabber and yapping for last year and hour and a half. But if there's something which you all would like to talk about, I'm really happy to discuss.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, tell me. Yes, tell me.
So do you provide internship?
So I provide internship.
Yes, sir. So
What do you want to work in?
I want to learn more with you. This PPT you have shown, it's like mesmerizing. There's a lot I've learned about the sustainability. And it just, I don't want it to stop. I want to learn more and more and more.
I'm
So
really flattered.
do you
Priya.
provide internship?
So Priya, right now I'm teaching full time. I am part of the academic administration, but I've left my mail ID with you. If there is something that you want to take up, write to me and we can see what we can do. Because right now I'm a full time faculty and administration person, but I'm always up for freelance projects. So if there's something that you have in your mind, please write to me and we can figure out. Yeah. But
Sure,
don't
sir.
be afraid of writing. I can't promise any internship, but what I can also do is we can do projects together. So write your thoughts and let's see what can come out of it. Yeah.
Thank you
And
so
at
much,
any
sir.
time, if you all ever come to the Design Village, I'll be happy to have a cup of coffee with all of you and we can have better dialogues. Yeah. This was just what I felt I thought would be able to share with you which gives you all slightly more confidence that you are in the right choice of your careers and you all are going to do well. Yeah.
Definitely, sir.
Thank you, Priya. And please write to me. I'll wait for your mail. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. People, any more questions? I would love to. So I've left these 15-20 minutes to your discretion because I want to talk to you all. And like Priya, I want to answer as many questions as I can.
So can you give us some expertise, like what should we do like after getting into NIFT? Like what is the streams that we open for?
So now tell me something. What does your question actually mean? Do you mean that what choices of career will you have once you start learning in a design school? Or it is more about what will you do in a design school? There are two very different answers to those questions.
So the pathway that leads to like first step is NIFT, and then after that, what is the profile and what are the pay scales, so that we can get over the thing with the right choice.
So, Surbhi, I will tell you something which I tell most of my students here at the Design Village also. It is not about you making a decision of going to either NIFT or NIT or the Design Village or IIT. It is more about your journey as a designer. That is your first step. The design schools, be it any school, will act as vehicles to make you better and more focused towards your career path. But ultimately, what you do after 4 years of undergraduate study is completely your decision. We, the faculty or the mentors whom you meet or the schools you study at, are only going to make 30 to 40% of difference in your overall life. And believe me, that stands true. There are many of my colleagues who've studied from Domus, but they will not tell you the same story as what I've told you today. So each one of us is unique, each one of us has a different path, each one of us has a different priority in life. So it is about your choice that you make. And I firmly believe that everybody has the right to make a different choice. And you should not follow someone else's path just because it seems very green. Because each one of us will talk about our high tides. We necessarily don't talk our low lyings and failures, right? So the idea is to celebrate your individual journey and not be burdened by which school will you go to, which course you will take up, because they are just vehicles to make you more focused on what you want to achieve. Does that help?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Please ask. So, if you're not satisfied, I can still answer. So you should ask whatever you want to.
So one more question, like what is the guidance that you can give us for GDPI and for cracking that? So any expertise?
Absolutely. One thing which I feel while interviewing students or interviewing people for academic responsibilities and roles is don't just try to be different because you have to get that extra mark to get a position. Sometimes, in the act of trying to be different, you lose out on your personality and the essence of what you are made of. If you don't know something, acknowledge that you are not aware of it and answer what you know is the best possible solution or an answer to, right? So, the moment you try to make up something, interviewers have also lived all of those years. So, they get to know when you're trying to make up something. And especially in a GDPA or a personal interview, when they are seeing you, watching you so up close, what I will tell you, only advice as is be true to yourself. Don't over fabricate. Don't see, it's always good to make things romantic, but it is not good to fabricate. There's a difference. And that is the only advice I want to give.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Surbhi. What else, people? We still have 15 minutes.
So I want to know that, like we talked about sustainability, and you like showed different brands how they practice sustainability and everything. But at the end, doesn't it make them so expensive?
See, tell me what is the definition of expensive? It is always a comparison of something else, right?
Yeah.
Like I was telling you all, I know that a sari of 50,000 rupees is very expensive. Okay. Today you buy that sari. So I'll give you an example. When I got married, my wife bought a sari which was some 60, 70,000. She's worn it once. Okay. And I don't see her wearing it again. And neither is it of a kind which can be passed on generation after generation. Okay. Whereas there's a very simple sari which she also got, which is for some 4, 5,000 rupees. She styles it differently. She wears it in a different manner every time, and it has still given her value. My problem is not the money here. My thing is the short sightedness that comes along with a garment or a fabric or a product. So much so that, this black t-shirt of mine, I might just get bored of it and stop wearing it because I'm tired of wearing the same garment. But in terms of longevity, this will be the last piece I might replace because it is so safe. And frankly, okay, to tell you the cost, this is worth 4,000 rupees. It is expensive for a black shirt. But I know that this shirt will be there, this t-shirt will be there for me for a long time because I know that has been produced ethically. It has been produced where no child labor has been used. So I have a conscience which I'm able to wear this with free mind. And that is far more important. I am not saying don't buy cheap clothing. I am not saying we should overspend. That is not the intention. I am spending, my mind also is money, right? My clarity of thought, my conscience, my belief in something is also money, right? So that is also what is building to the peace of mind and the right choice of buying something. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
The choice of using only a fountain pen, maybe, Kushi, versus a ball pen. Not that I'm only using fountain pens. I'm giving you an example. That is a choice one makes. Now, one can only buy a fountain pen worth 5,000 rupees, which is a Lamy, and you use it for a long time because you just fill ink with a pot, versus 100 pens which you will be using in a year because you run out of ink every time. And 100 pens into 50 rupees maybe is 5,000 rupees, just to give you a perspective. Not that we are doing it. I'm just saying it's an example, a loose example to make you understand.
Okay, yeah, got
Yeah.
it. Hmm.
Very good. I'm happy to answer such questions. It also gives me clarity and assurance of what we are all talking about today.
Sir, I have a question, Kaveri, this side.
Yes, Kaveri.
Sir, of course, we all are aware about, how we should all switch to sustainability and how it will benefit us and the environment in the longer run. But she mentioned that, of course, it is on the expensive side. And for a lot of people, people want to get into the line of sustainability. They want to, benefit from it, and they want to help the environment and everything. But at the end of the day, maybe they just cannot spend that much because maybe it is not in their budget. So I
I
mean,
agree.
so
I
so
completely agree with you.
so how do you matlab, how can we change that? I mean, because
I
it's
will
so
be very
difficult.
honest. It's very so. Frankly, I know it is very difficult, and we keep talking about such things, and it's very easy to give a gyan sitting across the screen. And I used to wonder 15 years ago, how will I ever make such choices? Sometimes it is just that simple mindset that I will stop using a plastic bag, that I will stop using something which I am not comfortable at. Like, I will just not use plastic spoons. I will always say no to deliverance of extra cutlery in a Zomato order which I'm doing. I will always say no to that plastic bag that comes with my milk basket. I will stop buying garbage packs because I know milk basket will not stop this. So instead of buying garbage bags also, I've started using milk basket or plastic bags. बहुत stupid सा example आपको दे रहा हूँ. This is only for you to understand that there are small choices. It is, see, sustainability, the moment I only restrict to clothing, it will make me very limited in my options. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So it is, see, it will take time. And currently the avenues are lesser. I completely agree. But eventually there will come a time where we'll be able to have more options and be able to perform better and have far more options in future to be able to sell better things and more conscious things.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We're also trying here to create new dialogues like even when our students are questioning weaving, they are now trying to weave their own fabric. So we've got few looms and now students have learned how to, make their own fabric. So they make their own loom. They put the frames together, they put the warp and the weft, like one of you was saying, and they try learning that. Because idea is to make your own fabric and then start weaving, start stitching on it. So small choices. What if we all become weavers and we start making our own fabric? We start producing our own food. What if we don't want 100 choices in life? You
Yeah.
understand?
Yes.
These are small choices which will shift in time. It will not happen suddenly. I'm not saying I'm doing most of it. It is very easy to give gyan on it, but I know what you mean. I completely get what you say.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And I do think that you all, while you all are working as designers, will come up with far more better situation solutions and make sustainability more affordable. In fact, if you all come to TDV, so I don't know if you've gone through our Instagram page, this brand called Araku. This is our coffee brand now. We have made a beautiful design cafe. And if you ever come to meet me, I will take you all there only because it is my favorite place on campus. And I think, Akanksha ma'am, you have to come next time because we now finally have our own cafe. And I'm very happy
Definitely.
that, yeah, because what I want to tell you all is this cup, people, is not plastic. It is made of biodegradable food waste. And the ink that you see is bio ink. So this particular cup can be 100% recycled. So I don't feel bad having coffee in this mug because I know it is going to be recycled 100%. So these are few choices that we are trying to make on campus. So I'll give you a very funny example also, people, because it happened with me. What I did was in the academic area, I removed dustbins. So there are some 15, 16 people sitting in the area. There was a dustbin under everybody's table. And every dustbin had a plastic inside. And no matter whether they put a single piece of paper or garbage in it, the bags were being replaced every day. Last week, I threw away all the dustbins. I threw away, as in I removed all the dustbins. I put one big dustbin in one corner and I put two smaller dustbins for dry waste. We segregated dry to the wet waste. People made a lot of hue and cry. There were name callings and hurlings of slangs, but ultimately everybody is doing it and nobody is missing individual boxes or individual dustbins. So sometimes those harsh measures have to be taken from our end as well. People, that this call has to be taken. When we go to our washrooms, we always have this urge, अरे एक और निकाल लेते हैं tissue paper. My hands are still damp. They're not dry enough. That urge to take that one extra napkin every time I go to a washroom, if it can be stopped. These are small things, very, very small things which you can start off with. It is not about buying an expensive garment at all. It is about making my own jholas. I know my colleague Mudita, she makes her own jholas and she takes them along wherever she goes. So it's good to sort of really go ahead and to sort of talk about it. And then you have the beauty of having your own creation, which you take along everywhere. Yeah. What else, people? Any
Sir,
other questions?
sir,
Yes.
Priya again.
Yes,
Sir,
Priya.
sir, apart of all this information, what do you expect from the future design? Any advice? Apart of this.
Give me a better example because there's so much of possibility. So I don't know what answer you are looking at.
So in what sense?
So
Sir,
what I
from
really
you,
feel
sir,
is,
from
yeah, okay. So I'll make it easy because I got your question. I think what I'm looking for is compassion. I really feel that design has to become more compassionate. I really want empathy to sort of start coming out. And I really believe that when you all take up the mantle of being designers, do not always think of a singular usage or a singular solution. It has to go to the larger community. It has to make a dialogue with the larger community. And that is very, very important to people. Yeah. That I really think, Priya, should be one of the pointers which you should think about in design. And that for
Okay.
me, it trumps everything. It trumps sustainability as well, because sustainability comes from the fact of thinking about others and not self. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So Sakshi, it is not how it is portrayed. If you're using natural fibers, you are not endangering natural resources, because we sort of don't understand that when we are producing synthetic fibers or synthetic elements, we are actually doing more harm to nature because we are not able to replenish. If I take natural resources, they replenish on their own. But if I destroy natural resources to make something synthetic, it cannot be replenished. And that is the main difference we have to understand. Also, when I take natural, I know that it is not going to be the same next time. So I'm okay with that. I have to be okay with that decision that I do not want warm uniformity. I don't want look-alike things. I want variety. I want uniqueness, exclusivity. And that is what nature can give me. Yeah. How do thrift stores contribute to fashion? Anybody of you would like to answer that question for us? See, sometimes thrift stores are put in a very negative manner, people. They are made to seem like people who don't have money, people like us who don't have money, we go to thrift stores to look cool and hip and look fashionable. But that is not the intention. I know that a few years ago, my cousin got married, and we chose to go to a thrift store because my wife knew that she is going to wear that garment once. We picked up a very good designer. We went to a thrift store, and it's called Walk the Ramp. I don't know how many of you have heard of it. And she picked up a very good designer, but she knew she has to only wear it once, and she paid the rent for 2 nights, and that's about it. My parents were not happy. Most of the family were like, "Oh, second hand pen ke aa gayi." But the idea was the purpose of looking different was served because we have burnt our hands. There have been lakhs and lakhs of rupees which have been spent on the marriage trousseau. What does one do? 6 years into the wedding, and she doesn't even wear any of those. They've become redundant. She doesn't even know where she'll wear them. So might as well go to a thrift store, pick up what you want to look like today, and be happy with it. See, people are never going to be satisfied and never going to be happy. There's always going to be an opinion. But I really think that thrift stores are a very good means of reimagining, repurposing. A thrift garment is not old, tattered garment. It's not Hansel and Gretel story. It is about being mindful of being conscientious. Yeah, people? So we have to redefine thrift stores. It is not being poor. And frankly, I know that in all these fashion series like Sex and the City or Runaway Bride or any of these Gossip Girls, thrift stores are looked down upon, or that they're not considered to be very upcycle or upscale. But it's all in the mind, it's in the mindset. You never know what comes off a thrift store. Yeah. And thrift store is not a charity. Another thing which we have to remember, if these high-flying socialites and celebrities give away their garments by saying, "Oh, it's a charity, I'm having a thrift store," that's a facade. That's something else. I am not talking about that. I'm talking about real sense thrift stores, which actually have their own curators and stylists who go and pick up these clothing which have been either rejected or put into cartons which they will not be used at, or they will be brought into fashion 10 years from today and put in as new by changing the label on a sleeve or whatever. It is about curating the right pieces at the right time and giving them second lives. I keep using this phrase, the second life. It has to become your mantra, people, because you believe in that. We get second chances in our lives, and why shouldn't garments and bags that we own? Yeah. And I'm not just saying it for hearsay or to make a statement here. I have started believing in it now. I never used to believe in it before. I was too spoiled by fashion as a student. But now, today, after living that life, I realize I was wrong at many places. And it never makes a difference. Yeah. What
So
else?
I have a question.
Tell me.
Hello.
Yes, tell me. I can hear you.
Yes, sir. I was just reflecting upon circularity and sustainability.
Mhm.
And can we just put it in one line and say that circularity enables sustainability, and without circularity, we cannot be sustainable? Is that the case?
Can you please repeat your question? I lost it. I did not understand what you wanted to say.
Sir, I'm saying that can we say, matlab, I just wanted to understand this concept on a whole, that can we say that circularity, without circularity, we cannot be sustainable? Are they like they go hand in hand?
See, circularity is an act. Circularity is a way of life, and sustainability is a byproduct of that circularity. So understand that sustainability and circularity are not in lieu of one another. The result of a circularity is sustainability. So sustainability is mostly an act. It's a verb of doing something.
Okay.
You get the difference, Kaveri?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And Anna, you have any other question?
Yes, actually, I was thinking, I have watched a video
Mm-hmm.
few weeks ago, and
Mm-hmm.
in that they were talking about cloth wastage. In There is a brand H&M, which is practicing the closed wastage management, and they were talking about reusage of the garment which was already thrown by the wearer or the owner, and they have this huge machine in, I think, Hong Kong, where they have set up the garment which take out almost like 48 hours to make that garment into something very different. So sir, is it an example of sustainability?
Have you heard of something called as greenwashing?
Uh, no, sir, sorry.
No, no, it's okay. It's okay. And please, I'm not being mean. And I also wear H&M at times. I've stopped buying H&M for last 4 years because of exactly the same reason, like you mentioned. And I try not to buy anything from H&M and Zara. As much as I love their fashion sensibility, as much as I love that they're so in trend or so upbeat, but my conscience just doesn't allow me to buy conscious H&M like they say. Because believe it or not, it's not being conscious at all. And the act of being sustainable without being sustainable is called as greenwashing, which means that your facade is sustainability, but inside you do all wrong practices. If you are telling me that a garment has been repurposed after spending 48 hours of electricity and human energy and travel costs included separately, it is not a sustainable choice. It is something which they do to themselves to make themselves feel better about having fast fashion as the way of income. I am not against anything. I am just saying that if you are a fast fashion brand, just be a fast fashion brand and don't talk about green fashion because you're not green. You're just like whitewashing. You're just trying to greenwash yourselves and make yourselves look pretty. And that's not a reality.
Okay.
We see, I am saying that you cannot be sustainable if you are spending 48 hours of fixing something which already has lived its life just to show you're repurposing something, just to add the tag of conscious H&M. You've been most unconscious in the way of working things. I hope you understand. I don't know if I'm making
No, sir,
sense to
I
you.
got it. I got it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions, people? Okay, I'll take your leave, people. If there are any questions, please feel free to write to me. Of course, Sagar, you can help them
Yeah,
with my mail ID, and
sure.
it will be great to hear from you all. Yeah.
So, hi, good evening to all of you. I'm Sagar Gautam and a part of Outreach and Admissions. Like Vatsal said, if you have more questions from Vatsal regarding the same, so you can always do one thing. You can just fill the this feedback form where you can always address the questions you have. So I can just route those questions to Vatsal and he can just get back to you, or he'll just communicate to me. I can transfer those answers to you. So everyone, good evening. सब लोग हैं या सब लोगों ने कैमरा ऑफ करके चले गए हैं सब लोग कहीं?
Half of them have disappeared, Sagar.
क्या बहुत ज्यादा exhausting है क्या?
That we'll get to know in feedback.
No, sir. It was very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
It was overwhelming as well, which is why I stayed silent throughout because I had to absorb everything.
So Kalabi, I'll request you to fill that feedback form so that I can
Yes, done.
And if there are some criticisms, so you're most welcome to do that also. Also, the people are very exhausted, so they are welcome to the campus, TDV. Physically, you can just come down to the campus and have a look how this campus is. And why don't you have a coffee at the campus, TDV? Like Araku coffee is always there for you people. And if you have some questions, more questions related to the same, you can always address those questions to the people here at TDV, the faculty members. I hope they will be helping you a lot in the same. So if you if you suggest me, can I play a video, a short video of TDV? I mean, if you people allow me.
So can I take your leave? Sorry, I have another meeting to attend.
No,
That's okay.
Thank you, also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. And just
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Take care of yourselves and good luck. Bye-bye.
So can I play the video?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I hope most of you people have seen this video, and will request you all if you can just follow TDV on Instagram. That's TDV India. I believe what is going in campus, you will come to know more about it from that social media platform. Also, if you're like a master, I believe you're a master student, you can just follow TDV on LinkedIn. We are very active on LinkedIn. And you want to know more about campus TDV, what we are doing, how we are doing. So give us a chance, come down to the campus TDV, have a cup of coffee with us, and interact with the people you want to, you want to have with, no matter whether it's fashion, communication, graphics, communication design, animation, space and interior design. Just give us a chance. We are very near to Delhi. Nearest metro station is Sector 15 metro station. We are based in Sector 8. It's just a 10 minutes walking distance, or you can just have a electricity auto or a private auto. It will hardly take 5 minutes from Sector 15 metro station. So guys, you do have any concern, any questions related to campus TDV? I hope I can answer you all questions. The rest academic part, I hope Mr. Vatsal has already answered you. Do you have any questions related to scholarship, the entrance exam we have, or the program we are offering? Anyone? Or we are done for the day. Anyone there?
Yes, we are here. There is no question.
No question is there. Okay. Thank you for being so nice, audience, and all the best for all of you. You want to pursue whatever you feel like, and rest. If you have any questions related to anything, do get back to us. I'm just dropping my number. If you have any questions, you can just always connect to me. 534308440. The rest, you are always welcomed at the campus TDV once again. All the best to all of you. And thank you, Pehel team, for giving this session. Thank you.